The UFO report has been delayed, and according to journalist Brian Bender, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, told him that the latest UAP report to Congress will be posted online, likely, quote-unquote, the latter part of this week. Journalist Josh Boswell has reportedly heard from sources within the ODNI regarding what's in the upcoming UAP report. But we'll cover that later in this video. You're not going to want to miss that. For now, I think it's absolutely paramount that I underscore what the United States Congress wants to be explained in this report. To help us with that, the following clip is taken from the UFO hearing from May 17th. Here, the chairman of that hearing, Andre Carson of Indiana, speaks.
This is the third version of this task force, and to be frank, one of Congress's concerns is that the executive branch and administration, both parties, has been sweeping concerns about UAPs under the rug by focusing on events that can be explained and avoiding events that cannot be explained. What can you say to give the American people confidence that you aren't just focusing our attention on low-hanging fruit with easy explanations?
In this same light, on April 21st, 2022, I interviewed Lou Elizondo, and this is what he said about what the Congress wants in reference to the creation of a UFO office in the Pentagon.
My only concern is that, AOIMSG does not get sidetracked and consider this some sort of air trash or space junk problem. And, in 4 years, okay, well, we've answered the mail in space junk, so therefore AOIMSG goes away. That's not the intent of Congress. And if they think it is, then, we're going to be right back to square one again, having to hold people accountable. Just look over there what just happened to that dude. Don't be that guy. You don't have to. Please don't do that, because that's not the direction we want to go down.
And as journalist Merrick von Rennenkampf rightfully points out, friendly reminder that per Congress, the powerful new UAP office will not give a damn about drones or airborne trash. In this context, solving X number of cases is meaningless. What matters are the truly perplexing cases tech that exceeds the known state of the art. And he provides several citations to demonstrate that. I'll use one. Per the legislation, shall be inclusive of those additional domains with focus on addressing technology, surprise, and unknown unknowns. Temporary non-attributed objects or those that are positively identified as man-made after analysis will be passed to appropriate offices and should not be considered under the definition as unidentified aerospace undersea phenomena. Positively identified man-made stuff is not the will of the Congress. Regarding the upcoming report, Bobby writes, why would they even report on the explained cases? Who cares about those? If they are explained, they don't belong in the report. Journalist Josh Boswell responds, I think this is one of the reasons for new language in upcoming legislation, to redirect focus in these briefings to just the unexplained cases. Let's dig into Josh Boswell's article titled, Exclusive, New Classified Report to Congress Says Only Half of UFO Sightings Can Be Properly Explained, Leaving Nearly 200 Mysteries Unsolved, as critics say investigators glossed over unknown cases. From the article, members of the intelligence community who are eager for the government to address the issue of unexplained craft in our skies were disappointed by the report's focus on cases investigators were able to solve. They're patting themselves on the back that they've resolved over half of them, the ODNI source said. But we don't give a crap about the ones they've resolved. Yeah, there's balloons up there, and balloons are sometimes mistaken for UAP. But there are a blank loads of classified videos that are pretty profound and pretty clear. They don't want to talk about this stuff because they really, really don't know what the hell they are. That's the truth. I absolutely believe they have much better videos of higher fidelity, higher resolution that make it more transparent what we're dealing with. The very videos that they are very reluctant to, not only to release, but to talk about. Indeed, Luis Elizondo himself has said that regarding the gimbal, the Go Fast, and the FLIR 1 video, those are some of the least compelling, the least of the videos that are out there. And we didn't even get to see the totality of those videos. Former Lieutenant Ryan Graves on Twitter, and I've brought this up before, has said, have members of Congress seen the other 4 minutes, have they seen the other 4 minutes of the gimbal video that has not been released? If not, why not? The government doesn't want to go here. The government is exceedingly risk averse. They don't want to deal with it. Now, is the reason they don't want to deal with it because they don't want me to have my time in the sun? No. Robert Hastings, the premier expert on the connection between UAP and nukes, in 2010 was asked, why is the government so reluctant to broach this reality? He gave a very enlightening answer.
What does the government have to gain by blanket denying that we've ever been visited by UFOs?
The RAND Corporation, which is a think tank, did a study for the Air Force in 1968. The Brookings Institution, which is a think tank, did a study for NASA in 1959, I believe, in which they said basically if extraterrestrials are here, governments have nothing to gain and everything to lose by admitting that without knowing the full intentions of whoever might be here. Are they hostile? We don't know. Do they intend some nefarious activities toward humankind? We don't know. So basically, you know, the odds that the U.S. government is going to admit that there are craft flying around American airspace that run rings around our own aircraft, literally, and we hope they're friendly because we can't control them. And, oh, by the way, they seem to be interested in our nuclear weapons and seem to be shutting them down from time to time. The government has everything to gain by keeping quiet about that.
I'm going to add to what Robert Hastings had to say in why governments, and specifically the United States government, does not want to go here. That is, mysterious craft in our skies and oceans that simply surpass all known human technology and are of unknown origin. So I wrote on October 26, many reasons governments don't want UAP transparency. A big part is you can't open the door only by a crack. The totality of UFO history becomes relevant the moment UFO confirmation dawns, including many dark realities, secret UFO programs, men in suits, lies, deception, and unknowns. Jeremy Corbell responds, and those just now being informed by the situation are currently wrapping their heads around the UFO reality. The questions reemerge. What are we dealing with? Is it in the interest of national security to shine a light? These are questions actually being asked right now. The article by Josh Boswell is very different from the article that I covered in the video prior to this one by journalist Julian Barnes, which was a New York Times article. Julian Barnes focused on how most UAP are prosaic in nature. He focused on how some UAP originate from China. And Boswell's article focused on how some UAP are genuine mysteries with high fidelity videos to accompany them. Really weird stuff. He focused on the very UAP that are unresolved and that interest the Congress, because the Congress is not interested in UAP that get resolved. They're interested in UAP that are a genuine mystery. And yet both journalists claim to have sources from the DOD. So what's going on here? Well, this may be an answer to what's going on here. Jay Raza writes, New York Times and Daily Mail UFO articles from opposing factions or from same? Why go negative in the top newspaper and positive in a tabloidish outlet with a large circulation? What's going on? Joe Murgia responds, Lou has talked about this many times. Some want this information out and some don't. It's an internal battle. Several folks who don't want it out spoke to Barnes, or they're neutral and Barnes left out pro-UFO info. One person who wants it out spoke to Josh Boswell. Boswell responded, 2 people. UFO Titan writes, thanks for the article, Josh. Do folks who are seeing this stuff seem more and more frustrated as being glossed over in your opinion? Any of them considering taking advantage of the new legislation and blowing the whistle? Josh responds, I'm told there are multiple whistleblowers who are ready to come forward to Congress if legislation protecting them is passed end of this year. If I were someone like former Lieutenant Ryan Graves or other pilots dealing with these things daily, I would be very frustrated. Frustration. That is going to be the straw that breaks the camel back. Frustration. And facilitates the house of cards falling, baby. My assessment is that the United States government, as well as other governments, has the forensic proof that we're not alone. And it has been insulated for decades and decades and decades. And it has been human psychology more than any other thing that has been the glue that has held this cover up together. Because no government wants to talk about it, wants to broach it, wants to bring it into the zeitgeist, not knowing how it's going to impact religion and culture and civilization in many different ways. So what do? They just don't talk about it. It's really that simple and much more complicated. But I think it's the frustration that is going to finally just break this wide open. And the frustration has been boiling up for a long time now. Pilots, radar operators, everyday Joe have seen these things, whatever they are. Technologies of unknown origin, unknown ownership. And we will get more hearings. And it will be those hearings that will progress this whole thing like nothing else, unless we have some unforeseen surprise. Now, we're just getting started, in my opinion. And I'll have tons to cover as we move forward, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe. If you'd like to support this channel, you can check out my merch shop where I sell t-shirts. You could become a patron. You could become a YouTube member. You could even give me a one-time donation. All the possibilities for that are in the description below, or you can just slap a like on this bad boy, and I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Special thanks to all patrons, YouTube members, those that have bought merch, those that have given me a one-time donation. I couldn't do without you. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.